Okay, so this is video number 5. This video will be about rigging. I realized I was off in the numbering of my other videos. So far we have the intro video, where we set up our scene. We have one modeling video, and we have 2 texturing videos. And I think this rigging tutorial will probably be in 2 parts, because rigging is a long and complicated process. Organization is probably the single most important thing in rigging, because you have a lot of things controlling just a lot of other things. Simply put, you have joints controlling geometry, and you also have certain control curves controlling those joints for ease of use for the animators. So basically, I am going to first show the difference between IK and FK joints. FK means forward kinematics, and IK means inverse kinematics. So, to put that in easier terms to understand, I'm just going to make a simple arm skeleton comprised of 3 joints. So I'm going to go skeleton joint tool, and I'm just going to snap it along here, X to snap, and I'm going to hit enter to complete the chain, control D to duplicate. And so I've got 2 joint chains right here. And the way IKs work is there needs to be a slight bend in the joint to show how actually, it's basically so that the IK solver can interpolate how to actually bend the joint. So for example, if this was an elbow, or this was an arm, the shoulder would be right here, the elbow would be closer here, and the wrist would be right here. The reasoning for this is that if you look at your arm, it actually bends on the outside. Same thing for the knee. You know, the knee, the joint is around the front of the knee. That's where the kneecap is. You want to put if this is a side view of the knee, like I guess right there, you have the hip, you have the front of the knee right here, and you have the ankle. So to illustrate the difference between IK and FK, right now, this joint, both of these are set up in IK, meaning I can grab the shoulder and rotate it just like this. I can grab the elbow and rotate it, and then I can also grab the wrist and rotate it. It doesn't appear to be rotating because I have no other joint to show the fingertips. But let's say that I want to grab the wrist and put it on something, like somebody resting on a table. Well, I can't just grab it now because that just stretches the joints, and that would stretch your model out. It would distort your model, and it would just not be a happy situation. So, use something called IK, which is the inverse kinematic solver of Maya. You go skeleton handle IK handle tool with the option box. And you want to make sure that your current solver is set to IK RP solver. The difference between IK and between RP and SC is a single chain solver. That you would use that for if you had a clavicle setup on your chest. If you had basically like a toe setup, being able to move your toes, the ball of your foot. Basically, if you want to have any point in your joints to where you will be able to, so like if you have a situation where you do actually want to move this joint, but you don't want this joint to, the distance to change between these 2 joints. So I'm just going to show you real quick what an SC solver is. So I put it right there, and now when I move this around, you can see the joint actually doesn't grow or shrink in distance. And when I release the IK right here, it'll snap back. This would be great if like we didn't want the shoulder to move, but it kind of doesn't really work out. And if I did like 2 SC solvers, this would be kind of annoying, moving it kind of like this. So the IK RP solver, rotate plane, it solves this problem. Essentially, the rotate plane is kind of like, here I'm going to make this more of a triangle so I can kind of show you what rotate plane does. Essentially, what it will do is it will draw a triangle between the start joint, the end joint, and wherever this joint is kind of the average of these two are facing. So both, so it's going to draw a triangle basically from here to here to here. And so basically, if I, well, here, I'll just show you with it. So the way that you do a RP solver, click on your shoulder joint, click on your wrist joint, and now see how that white line is pointing to how the elbow, where the elbow is. This is why rotate plane solver will not work if your joints are perfectly straight. It will never bend. So you need to have a slight angle in it, and you know it's true to real life because you know your elbow and your knee have you know they bend from the your elbow from the edge of your arm and your knee from your kneecap. So when I move this now, see it will automatically rotate the shoulder and the elbow, and I can just put my wrist on something right here, and then the rest of my body would move around, and it would just automatically interpolate. I don't have to do this forward FK situation where I grab the joints and kind of like, oops, sorry, not by translating, but by rotating, and you know, like let's say if I want this joint right here to be exactly on the grid, then you know I have to maybe rotate the shoulder down and then maybe get this other joint perfectly right there. With the IK systems, you can just grab the end joint and you can just place it wherever you want. So the basically all of the IK setups in boxMan will be rotate plane setups, and I mean, you know, looking at this, like if you're new to IK systems and whatnot, you would kind of wonder why you would ever use FK, and the reason why you do use FK is some animators prefer it. Some riggers actually put in a FK IK switch so the joint chain can switch from FK to IK. But certain motions in just daily life, like let's say if you jump and you're falling and kind of like your arms are kind of traveling in a circular motion, same thing for your legs, or they're dangling. If you're throwing a ball, because like when you throw a baseball, your arm kind of moves in a windmill, you know, in between a windmill and motion, and also I mean people use it also for like throwing like a football, but I mean really any motion that's done by FK can be achieved by IK. It just takes a bit of tweaking. And there's another thing that I want to just throw out there with IK. There's a thing called a pole vector, which will actually, it could be a piece out here. I'm going to get rid of the skeleton. It'll be like some type of control out here that you can move around that will actually rotate this joint so that this joint always aims at it. It'll essentially help you control the twist of the IK. So if I can get right here, yeah, so it'll basically control this, but without controlling this attribute right here. So you can choose if you want your guy to be you know, walking with his hands and his arms bent kind of like that way, moving like that, because it's important, like, because if you want your guy to be scared, you know, your knees kind of need to be they need to go out and come back in and kind of rotate inward, and you won't be able to do that unless you have the pole vector. It'll be really annoying and very inefficient to go in here to the twist and keep changing that. So now that you guys know the difference between IK and FK, I'm going to go ahead and end part 1 of the rigging video, and I'll come back and I'm gonna do a couple of things outside the video. All I'm gonna do is make a new group with nothing in it called joints underscore GRP, and I'm also gonna make a new layer and add that group to the layer. And the convenience of adding a group to a layer is anything you put in that group is controlled by that layer. So layers and groups are very important. Like I said, organization is just very important in and really all parts of Maya, but I think probably mostly in rigging. So I'll see you next video.